evening, everybody. I'm Mark.
And I'm Britton.
And today we are going to watch a very, very special movie. All right, so the movie is called The Thing.
Maybe you've heard of it.
You probably haven't. It's like we're such hipsters. Like, we knew this movie before. It was cool. Well, let's just get started, because there is a special reason for why I chose this movie. And you'll probably hear more about this in the coming weeks. But as of right now, I am scheduled to leave for Antarctica on Tuesday, July 4th. January 4th. I don't even know what day it is.
I missed my flight.
Damn it. I missed my window then. So yeah, I'm supposed to be going down to the South Pole for research, to do weather and everything like that. As of the time of this recording, the mission is a go. They want me down there. The only thing that can fuck me is COVID. So cross my fingers that it doesn't fuck me.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, like it's happened before. So let's talk about the movie now, because The Thing takes place in an Antarctic research station, which is in a place kind of where I'm going to be working, kind of. I think mine's a little bit more fancy.
Yeah, and a little bit less
spooky.
Yeah.
So why don't you just give us a brief overview about what The Thing is about?
So, the movie stars it has actually a lot of stars in it. It has Kurt Russell, Keith David,
and
the late, great Wilford Brimley.
Just without the mustache.
Yeah, his trademark mustache, but presumably still having his trademark diabetes.
Like, I think that from the moment he stopped filming this movie, he was like, you know what? I'm gonna grow me a mustache. And then he just never stopped.
Yeah, it just kept growing.
He fed it. He gave it protein and eggs.
And it took over his pancreas, which is why,
Yeah, of course.
But, they're in a South American research station where...
South American?
South African. Antarctic research station. Where they're kind of doing their own... We never really figure out what they're researching.
Well, it's a station, so they're probably just maintaining things through the winter, because it's the first week of winter.
And there's this dog that's kind of running away, being pursued by these Norwegian gentlemen who are shooting at it. And they kind of run up into the base and lose their shit and shoot one of the Americans trying to kill the dog, but they
don't make it.
Yeah, they don't make it. And pretty much from there, it's almost a who's done it with a parasitic alien.
It, to me, is because like the dog. Spoiler alert! The dog is this alien, and it's an alien that can mimic other life forms, as long as it has enough time together. And the research people, they figure it out, and they come to the conclusion that one of them at least is this thing, and they don't know who it is. And to me, this is one of the best, I'm gonna say, horror movies ever made.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because it's not a horror movie that is big on jump scares or anything like that. It is a movie that is more based on paranoia and fear.
Yeah,
and
pure tension.
Yes, exactly. And the first time I saw this, I remember being kind of on the edge of my seat the entire time. And I will also say, again, if you haven't seen The Thing, stop watching this right now and watch it. It's the 1982 Kurt Russell, John Carpenter joint, and not the new one, which is also called The Thing, from 2011 with Mary Elizabeth Winstead or whatever her name is.
Yeah. Which it wasn't bad, but it did not capture the lightning in the bottle that the first one.
Well, technically, this is technically a remake of The Thing from Another World.
Oh yeah, from the 50s.
Yeah, so don't watch that one either. Watch this one, because this one is fantastic. And it also has, even though I said this movie wasn't big on jump scares, it does actually have, I think, the best jump scare in the entire history of motion pictures. I'm not going to tell you exactly when, but I think Britton knows when it is.
Is it
during the best scene?
Oh, there's a lot of good scenes.
During the scene that we were watching, I said this is probably the best scene in the movie. No, he doesn't know.
I don't remember. Like there are so many good scenes in that movie. So many good scenes. So many one-liners.
Like I don't want to. Like I'm gonna point it to you. Pantomiming. I also don't think he understands.
I have no idea what you're doing.
They go
oh
these
yeah.
and then
Okay. Yeah.
I like doing all these pantomimes over here, but yeah, I would consider it to be the best jump scare because
it does come out of nowhere,
and also at this point they have effectively built the tension up to such a high degree that as soon as it is broken, it is such a jump from being tense to just every single person I've ever showed this movie to has jumped at that scene the first time they've seen it.
Like I've seen that scene a number of times, and it always hits me on. I never expect it.
Yeah, it really is a. Like I said, I'm not somebody who likes a movie that's just nothing but jump scares because I think that's a little cheap. But this is a case of a jump scare actually done, I'd say, right.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's. Not only that, it builds up the tension very well. I know a lot of modern horror movies tend to do nothing but build up tension, and it just ends up kind of fizzling out into nothing.
Like I would say that the difference between this and modern horror movies is, they ratchet up the tension, but there's enough moments in between that kind of show you the stakes. Like, in the beginning, like when we finally figure out that the dog is this monster, like that's only like 20 minutes into the movie, and it's like, I don't want to say a showstopper, but it really is a holy shit, like look at this, like you finally understand the stakes involved. And then every now and again in the middle of the movie, like there are moments where you find, oh, this person was a monster, this person's a monster, and when it does happen again, it shows you just how terrifying this whole thing is, so that while there is tension involved, like it doesn't detract from it. In fact, it builds the tension even more when you see it. Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of, like, trying to figure out, okay, how the hell did this guy get infected?
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, okay, I see now, So, that's basically the movie. One by one, people get killed, people turn into things, and then it's just pretty much just a showdown at the end.
Yeah, it has some of the best practical special effects in the industry. And like I know if you're squeamish, you probably should avoid this movie.
No, but, don't. You can power through it.
Yeah, like I would recommend watching it, but it could get to you if you don't like gore or blood.
Like I said, in the first 20 minutes, there's a sequence with like the first time we see the actual threat.
Yeah.
If you can make it through that scene and still be like, okay, like that's not enough to detract me from continuing to watch it, then I don't think there's anything else quite as violent as that, or as quite as squeamish as that.
Yeah.
I think the first one, which deservedly so, is kind of the thing. It sets the tone for the rest of the movie. Like, oh, this is the type of movie we're doing. Okay, this is fine. And, go ahead.
So I'm gonna go off now. How would we make this movie?
Well, that's a tough question because
I have an idea.
Okay. This movie in and of itself is, I'm not going to say perfect, but it's such a great movie.
It's a phenomenal... there's nothing in this movie that needs to be changed. It's I would say it's an instant home run.
Yeah, it is. Like I said before, this is one of my favorites of all time. But that's not the question at hand.
Because from here, I'm just gonna ruin it.
Yeah, everything. It's just gonna go downhill from here.
And my choice is The Thing. It's the same set, but it's the Three Stooges. Nuts to you.
Or they're throwing pies at each other. How do I know you're really the Thing, Chowderhead? He does an eye poke and the eyes eat his fingers off. Or they do one of their classic bits where they like where they like grab a wrench or something, wrench the guy's nose, like Curly's nose.
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, but no, his nose falls off and little legs come out of it and start. You gotta be fucking kidding me!
That's a nice time to lose you.
Fine time to be losing your body part. Alright, so how would I do this? I know when we were watching, I mentioned that I would do it with Muppets, and every time someone became, like, the thing, they would just be human versions of the Muppet, but I think we can do better. I think I can do better with this. I'm gonna try to make a legitimate change that might be good.
Alright, I'm curious.
I'm not gonna go silly. I'm also stalling for time because I haven't thought about what this is gonna be yet. So I would add one little feature to it. One teeny, tiny, almost microscopic, maybe smaller than a quark, maybe smaller than a Planck length of a... I don't know.
It's Dr. House.
Differential diagnosis, people. What's wrong with this guy?
Well, he seems to have a mouth in his stomach.
So it's instead of Keith David, it's Omar Epps.
Yeah.
He's I think he's an alien.
Well, that's some kind of voodoo bullshit, sir.
An alien, sure, I'll put that at the top of the list of things that it's not. What else could it be? Lupus?
It's never lupus.
Did you know I was gonna say lupus?
Yeah, if you didn't say lupus, I was going to.
See, that's the type of rapport that you get after 20 years of being a friend.
Yep, simpatico.
So, I would have more monsters in it. Like, not just the thing, but...
Like a Frankenstein monster?
No, not that kind
of... They find a frozen windmill?
Okay. I wasn't gonna say that, but you might be onto something here. Not a Frankenstein monster. Not a Frankenstein. But a mummy. It's, and instead of the alien, it's a mummy that's like infecting them, wrapping them up in his, his mummy wraps. And
so it's almost like Alien versus Predator, where they find this ancient pyramid in the South Pole, but it's a mummy instead of an alien.
Kinda, like, and every time he infects one of them, they become the same person, just wrapped up in mummy, like bandages.
I imagine it's the same reverse footage that they use, but it's with bandages instead of like, tongues and tentacles.
And of course, nobody knows that the person has become a mummy yet.
Even though they're wrapped up in
Exactly. They're completely wrapped up in bandages, but they're like...
It could be any one of us.
I know. We should probably do that. Now.
It can't be him.
No, it just can't be him. I'm not going with him.
Who said I want you to go with me anyway? Childs, let him go with you.
And I imagine that it's a mummy in bandages, but they're still wearing their Antarctic gear, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, they're still wearing their clothes and their glasses.
I imagine that there's one mummy in his roller skates. Listening to Stevie Wonder. Who's also...
That is kind of how I would do it, yes. Replacing the thing with a mummy, I think would be like... I don't know how to take this seriously, guys.
It's kind of funny because of all like the monsters and groovy ghoulies, like the mummy's probably the least dignified.
He's also the least threatening.
Yeah, he's just a zombie in wrapping paper.
He's a Christmas zombie.
Yeah.
Alright, so who would you consider like the groovy ghoulies?
Like the classic groovy ghoulies?
Yeah. Who would you consider a classic, monsters?
So you have Frankenstein's monster.
Okay.
You have a Dracula.
I can see that, yeah.
You have the mummy.
The mummy, of course, yeah.
And you have the creature from the Black Lagoon.
I would include that.
And the werewolf.
And the Wolfman, yes. I would also maybe, I know it wasn't in Monster Squad, but I would include the Invisible Man in there.
Alright, and... Maybe Dorian Gray.
No.
League of you know what I'm going.
Yeah, I know what you're going for. Not including him.
Yeah, no, I can see the Invisible Man.
Like he had in the 50s or 40s or whatever, he had a string of movies as well.
Well, yeah, it was also like it was a part of those 1930s movies that came out around the same time from was it Warner Brothers? I want to say so.
Yeah, sure, maybe. I just know that there was the first Invisible Man with Claude Rains, and then after that there was a string of sequels starring Vincent Price as the Invisible Man, who is the perfect voice for an Invisible Man, I feel.
I can see you, but you can't see me. I know when you're showering.
You're wearing socks.
Oh, shit.
Hold on a second. Okay. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. You can't see me, but I can see you.
I can hear you fine.
So I would throw the Invisible Man in the mix.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, especially if we're gonna go with Vincent Price.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be anyone other than Vincent Price. But it is kind of interesting that you mentioned like all the ghouls that were from the Monster Squad.
Yeah.
Because I remember we talked about this before. Like the Monster Squad was in the mid '80s, but it was like paying homage to the monsters from like the 30s and 40s. So things that came like about 40 years before it. So now we're in like 2020. We're the 2020s, and if we look back at the movies from 40 years ago, that's like the 80s.
Yeah.
Like the current age Monster Squad would be like Freddy Krueger, Jason,
Pinhead,
Chucky,
Michael Myers.
Yeah, like
there's actually a lot more of the 80s groovy ghoulies.
But
I guess they'd be the rad ghoulies.
Yes, the Rad Squad, the bad rads, or the Rad Bads. Like I would love to see a Monster Squad movie set nowadays where those are the monsters they have to fight, because it'd be a little bit darker, I think.
It's kind of interesting to think that I know there were a lot of different vampire, different people who played Dracula, a lot of different people who played like the Mummy or stuff like that. But it's interesting to think of maybe someone like Freddy Krueger being played by someone other than Robert Englund. I know they did the remake, but just Freddy Krueger being such an icon that it's almost a public domain item.
Like, who would you think if they were making this Monster Squad thing now? Because Michael Myers and Jason doesn't really matter because
Leatherface.
Yeah,
they all have masks.
Yeah, exactly. Like Chucky is just a voice, so you can get Brad Dourif to do him until the end of time.
Yeah.
Or Mark Hamill, because he did the voice of the new Chucky.
You could have two Chuckies.
Yeah. So like it doesn't really matter who these people, but Robert Englund, like there's a face and a personality there.
Yeah.
Or Freddy, not Robert Englund. So who would be the new Freddy? Who would you have play Freddy for the monsters, like our Monster Squad remake from 2021?
I know they had Rorschach play him but he had a different tone. Like he had a much darker tone, which don't get me wrong, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
But I didn't think it captured almost the playfulness of Freddy Krueger, because Freddy Krueger was, even from the first movie, was making yucks here and there, like, I'm your boyfriend now.
Yeah, like,
yeah, just
the first Freddy, the original Freddy Krueger, like, he didn't get as goofy as he would get later on.
Yeah.
But he still had
he had a sense of humor.
Yeah, he had a personality about him, which I think is probably why I like those movies. Well, one of the reasons why I like those movies better than any other ones. I mean, I do like a lot of slasher movies, but Freddy is my favorite.
But that is a tough one. Like, who could? I think I know who could.
I have a few, but I want to hear yours.
I forget his. I'm terrible with names, but the guy who played Rocket Raccoon.
Oh, Bradley Cooper?
Yeah, I think Bradley Cooper. Like, he has. I think his face could work with Freddy. And yeah, all you have to do is kind of make your voice gravelly and say bitch a lot, and then you're good.
Yeah, let's do this, bitch. I I have two ideas in my mind.
Go on.
One of which I think was rumored to play him for a while, and then they gave it to Rorschach, I guess because he was younger. But Kevin Bacon was one of them, which I think would be a very good, definitely a very good Freddy.
Yeah.
Number 2, actually I got 3 now. Number 2 would be William Fichtner, Mahone from Prison Break.
Oh yeah, he would be a very good Freddy.
Because I think that he can have a little bit of a sense of humor, but he also has a presence about him.
Yeah.
Like, haha, you and your friends are dead. Or number 3, and this is a simple one, because everyone can be played by him, I feel, is Idris Elba.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see that? Did you see him play Knuckles? The guy can be intimidating.
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
He'd be a very dignified Freddy, but I think he can, he has enough, he was fucking, I think, Stringer Bell from The Wire, so he has a certain amount of intimidation behind him.
Yeah.
And he has, like, a deep, rich, lustrous voice.
I know, you always tell me about that.
Yeah, I know. Like, I don't think it's too weird to say that I love Idris Elba.
I don't think it's too much to tell you how velvety and,
and smooth
it is, and how strong and safe his arms are.
It's like being wrapped up by a very, very safe, warm bubble. It's like laying on a Chase couch, listening to him talk. And yeah, so Idris Elba is awesome.
Yeah.
And I think he would be a fine Freddy.
Yeah, I think he'd do all right. I don't know. Idris Elba, like after seeing him as McCavity, like it kind of took his intimidation a bit down for me.
I don't know, because
meow.
He was the best part of. Okay, he wasn't the best part. I'd say Ian McKellen was the best part of Cats, but
there was no best part of Cats.
I liked it. I liked it because
I like John Voight in it.
Yeah. I liked Cats because it was so, like, don't get me wrong, I liked Cats because I hated it a lot, if that makes sense. It was a movie so bad that it just wrapped around to being, like, good again. Like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. The first time we watched it, I remember I didn't stop cackling with laughter. And you shook.
I think I was doubled over in pain.
Like, you shook. You were just, your hair was falling out. You were sweating. You were puking. You were complaining. You couldn't smell or taste anything.
You did give me all those meals in the uranium silver uranium. Never mind. Like, I know there's
radiation poisoning. I think.
Yeah, I'm getting with radiation poisoning, but there actually used to be like dishes and bowls they would infuse with like uranium
or guano.
Poop?
Yeah.
There's poop plates.
Well, in Ace Ventura there was.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in the second one, not the first one.
Well, I figured that. Hey, the bats were kind of a theme in the second one.
Jim Carrey as Freddy Krueger. Would it be to Jim Carrey? Or would it be... alright, hear me out here.
I'm listening.
Hear me for a second. I'm not saying tone down Jim Carrey, being Jim Carrey. I'm not saying that, but I do think that if he played it the right way, his manic energy could almost be terrifying.
I think he has definitely the energy of Nightmare 6. But I don't know, like I'm thinking back at, like, I know he's done, I don't think he's done straight up horror, but he's done
number 23.
I don't think that's horror. I think that's more thriller, isn't it?
I thought it was supposed to be horror. At least that's what it was billed as.
But I think that was his first one, and
that or The Majestic.
Was that horror?
No, not at all.
Yeah, if you consider consider the reviews, it was.
It was horror for Warner Brothers.
It's horror for the box office.
But go on.
I would like to. Let me put it this way: I would like for him to give it a try, especially if we're going for a kids movie.
I don't want it to be a kids Freddy. I guess you're saying it is a Monster Squad, but I am kind of interested to see what a manic Freddy would be like, because I think that it could wrap around from... It would start off kind of goofy, but I think that it could wrap around all the way into being a new type of terror that no one's ever seen before. Like, there's never been a horror slasher that is so gleeful about it that that it almost feels like, you know, you dying is such an inevitability that the guy's almost having fun with it. Like, yeah, Freddy's having fun, but he's not jumping around having glee parties about it.
So it's almost as if the Mad Hatter was a murderer.
Yeah, something like that. I think that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like, especially if, like, you're walking around and you just hear the... you know, and that wouldn't be too scary. But
what's this freak doing?
You know, this isn't very scary, and then, you know, he stabs you and he starts dancing in your blood and everything like that. Maybe it wouldn't be scary.
Yeah, it'd be a little goofy.
So maybe it wouldn't work. I don't know. I think there could be a good balance between ridiculously goofy and also sheer terror.
Yeah. It would almost have to be like you would almost have to have like a Saw scenario where it's these two guys trapped in the room and one's like a manic lunatic.
That's actually kind of like, especially if our main character is the guy who's not the manic lunatic, and it's basically you don't know the exact, like, you're not told the exact rules at first, but you know that
one of these guys has to die.
Yeah, one has to die in order to make it out.
Yep.
And, like, you don't know what it could be, you know, like, you don't know what the weapon's gonna be, you don't know how the rules are gonna play out, but you know that only one of you's getting out of this room. They're both chained on each side of the wall at first, or you're, like, you know, locked up in some sort of like, maybe there was like a glass or something between them at first.
I would imagine, you know, they're kind of stuck in a scenario where they have to cooperate in order to stay alive. Like, they're on let's say, for example, they're on these two plates that have to stay in balance.
Okay.
And if one of them steps off, the other one will fall, or something like that. But one of them has to die in order to.
Okay, or it's kind of like maybe an escape room scenario where they have to work cooperatively for 90% of the thing, or else both of them die.
Yeah.
But at the very end,
there's only one key.
Yeah, and it's gonna have to come down to who wants it more. And the whole time, like, you know, our main guy, he's pretty much just a straight gruff kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this. What's wrong? I just want my family back. You know, yeah, the kind of guy. And the other guy is like a Jim Carrey on crack kind of thing.
He's the Joker, pretty much.
Yeah, only I don't want to go Joker territory. I just want to go, he's just a manic loose cannon, which I guess is the Joker. But you know, he's he's helping, but
is he?
Yeah, he's helping in a way that it kind of makes you untrustworthy, and you know that this guy cannot be trusted to the point where does this guy even want to make it out of the room? Like, would he rather fuck us both in order to, you know, just satisfy his sick glee?
And you almost have to. It almost requires a third character just to be the go-between, just to be the buffer.
I would say that the third character is a voice, you know, throughout the thing. That's
like a jigsaw.
Yeah, type of thing. Like, yeah, explaining some of the rules and helping them out, and every now and again stepping in to, you know, like, explain like another challenge, like, oh, you see these logs, they are burning logs. In order to make it across, you must. Oh, that would be weird. There's you know, there's a bridge that one person has to cross in order to open a door so they both can get out.
Yeah.
And in order to keep this bridge up, like, the one guy has to constantly crank something in order to keep this bridge from, like, collapsing. And the guy who's cranking is, of course, the Jim Carrey guy, while the other guy has to walk across this bridge. Not sure whether or not this guy's gonna just be like, it's more fun to watch him fall, even though we'll both die, kind of thing.
For some reason, in my mind's eye, I picture it's one of those old not drawbridges, but one of those old rope bridges. Mm-hmm. And what the crank does is it just kind of makes the rope bridge a treadmill, and it does that because you have to keep ahead of the fire.
Okay.
So you have to crank the bridge to pull the bridge back in order to keep the fire from reaching the other person, but it's also hindering the other person from getting to the other end.
Like
So I imagine the Jim Carrey character kind of just cranking it too fast.
Like, slow it down, just slow it down a bit. Okay. I'm really doing it now. I'm really slowing it down.
The fire's getting to me now.
Okay, I'm slowing it down.
The fire.
No, he's slowing it down. And then he cranks it real fast. Like once he starts getting a little bit ahead of the fire, he just, cranks it back up, just to fuck with the guy a little bit.
Well, you need to crank it in order to get the fire.
Oh, you need to crank it faster and faster?
Well, the crank it pulls the fire back. But, yeah.
So every now and again he'll slow it down. Ooh, you better hurry. You better hurry. Okay.
Too fast. It's a balancing act.
Now, the reason I came up with the rope bridge thing is, back in the day, there was this game called Resident Evil 5. I'm sure you've played it many of times, or at least twice. And I used to play. I played with like about 4 or 5 different friends, and there's this one area where you're trying to get to where you have to basically hold this thing up, and if you push a button, like the bridge collapses, and the other person who has to get across will die.
Yeah.
And I was always at the button. And
you were the wrong person to leave at the button.
I think, at least, if I played this game with a friend 10 times, which is an easy estimate, 7 of those 10 times I just said, I'm ready to do this area again, and just let him fall to his death.
I've known you long enough to say that I'm the one on the button.
Well, it depends on who you pick, because, only certain characters go certain areas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I always played as Sheva, because I liked Sheva, and, yeah, that's how it would go. And the funniest thing is, even when I didn't drop it, I remember my buddy Chris would be, his heart would race the entire time. He'd try to go as fast as he could in order to get to it. Mark, please don't do this. Don't worry. He'd, scurry across. He'd go, and then he'd back up a little bit, and then he'd, run across and start trying to do the thing he needed to do. And, there were times I wouldn't do it, where he was like, oh, thank goodness. But there are times I'd wait for him to almost get through, and then I'd be like, we're doing this again.
It's why I'm glad we don't live in a zero consequences universe.
I don't know. I think zero consequences would be fine.
I'd see myself going off a lot of bridges.
Yeah, but so would I.
True.
It's zero consequences. Who cares?
Well, the consequences, I have to buy a new car.
I remember we talked about this idea of zero consequence, just for a day. If we had a genie's lamp, we would just wish for a zero consequence day, where we could just do whatever we wanted for a day with no consequence. If we died, cha-ching, we'd just pop up again,
Yeah.
And I remember we determined that it would end with us in a World War I style dogfight over the Grand Canyon.
In biplanes?
Yes.
I thought you meant us in trenches.
No. Mark, I know you launched chemical warfare at me. Well, we said no chemical warfare. Zero consequences.
Yeah, but Geneva's pissed.
Oh, Geneva's pissed. They're always pissed.
What war have they ever liked?
They're just anti-war, I feel.
I can't get approval for... I can't kill a person without them, folding their arms and shaking their fist.
Ah, damn it, I got trench foot.
Ah, shit.
Well, at least it won't follow me till tomorrow.
Alright, I got trench foot. It's gone now.
Well, I figured you somehow got trench foot in the biplane.
Well, I imagine this was, we're in the biplanes after the trench warfare.
Oh, okay.
And then as I'm in the biplane, I figured out I get trench foot and then just take a nosedive.
I thought it was just, we're fighting each other in biplanes, and you look down and you just had trench foot for some reason.
Which I don't know what is it, just soggy feet?
Yeah, and World War I guess you're bound to get trench foot no matter where you are.
Well, you saw their boots. They're just designed to get trench foot.
But you're in an airplane. What, there's no moisture in the atmosphere? Fine, okay.
We're in the Grand Canyon. It's arid.
Yeah, okay. Look at the clouds, Britain.
What cloud?
I'm not flying in that cloud again. It's only one cloud in the entire sky, and it's tiny.
Hey, but it's enough to get me trench foot.
Yeah. The boots are pretty much pre-installed with trench foot.
It's just full. Unfortunately, there's a fungus factory next door to the boot factory.
the boots, when they're dry, are absolutely fine, but the second you introduce a little bit of moisture, it's just like it's like putting a drop of water on a gremlin.
You're immediately a petri dish.
Yeah. It spreads quickly like, son of a...
It's like that favorite scene of yours from the movie.
One of you's gonna get trench foot. I know. I'm gonna show you what I already know.
Oh,
trench foot. I think that's gonna be one of our things for this podcast. One of our
trench. It's well. First off, the phrase trench foot is a fun phrase.
It
to say.
really is. Like, I think we've said trench foot at least 20 times.
And you're gonna hear it a lot more.
Like, from here on out, we're gonna say only trench foot.
This is the trench foot cast.
So we're just gonna trench foot, trench foot, trench foot, trench foot. Trench foot, trench foot. Trench foot, trench foot. Eat yourself a trench foot.
Yeah, trench foot, you too.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Trench foot.
Son of a trench foot.
No, we only say trench foot.
Oh.
Only trench foot.
Trench foot, a trench foot.
Trench foot, trench foot, trench foot, trench foot. Trench foot, roll out! We've gone too far, I think.
Mary had a metal trench foot and reached night of snow.
And everywhere the trench foot went, the trench foot sure to follow. Yes. So, on the subject of trench foot, let's get back to, I don't even know what the hell we're talking. All I can think now is trench foot.
Zero consequences.
Oh, the zero consequence universe. I guess it would have to come down to us fighting each other to the death at some point.
Well, at some point, I figure that's the entire day.
I mean, I'm sure it escalated. Well, I mean, zero consequence. Like, I think I would start off with other things before I moved on to murder.
I guess, like
I'm gonna eat all this ice cream. Calories be damned.
Like that's pretty. I guess a funny way to do it, but
start small.
But I don't know. Like, how do you? I would be afraid to test it out. Like, what What if what if the genie's just one of those liar genies?
Like, I would start off with, again, something maybe small that would, like, all right, well, I guess I would have to commit murder.
Yeah,
like, I wouldn't do it on myself first. I'd be like, all right, hold on a second, let's, maybe, like, all right, so every living thing, like, just comes back after death. Yes. I just step on, like, a bug or something to see if it comes back. Ching! I think we're good, Burton.
All right. Though I imagine, because you almost need a lawyer with genies, because like you said, every living thing, so that means everything that was ever dead.
Yeah, everything is alive right now. Okay.
So smallpox. Alive right now.
So okay. Smallpox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be one of those things that escalate where I'd start off by going into like somewhere like random, like I'd go into like Fort Dix or something, and I would just be like, "You guys are all a bunch of sissies," and just
okay,
just have them beat me up and have the zero consequence thing, like rear its ugly head eventually, like, or is it just death? Like, what is this zero consequence? Like, will I not get hurt? Because that would suck too.
I don't know. Like, it's these are kind of your rules, so.
Like, all right, so I want no pain, no nothing. Like I said, no consequences. Like, once I've made sure that there are zero consequences, the genie's not fucking us over.
Yeah.
Like, I would probably just jump into like a lake and then just start breathing underwater.
Yeah, if you're gonna go that far, you might as well go to Challenger Deep.
Okay. Well, I mean, we only get 24 hours to do this.
Yeah. Well, you don't think you can get to the bottom and back? Well, I guess not. Like zero. Like, I guess at 24 hours, you're just gonna be crushed.
Like, and that's where the day passes, and that's how I end. Like, I mean, I'm sure breathing underwater would kill me because even though it's zero consequences, I guess I'll still pop back up like a 1-up kind of thing. Yeah. Or is it just we're invulnerable or invincible for 24 hours?
I guess the. Like I said, these are your rules.
All right, so yeah, invincible for 24 hours.
So yeah, you
invincible and invulnerable. Yeah.
So you could go to Challenger Deep if you wish to, but you got a time limit.
Yeah, I don't want to waste all my time doing that. I just want to swim under a lake or something.
Just put a balloon on yourself.
There's plenty of things that I want to be doing, though. I don't want to spend half my day just swimming to one spot.
I guess.
Like, again, maybe just... Alright, let me go under this lake real quick. Alright,
This water's dirty.
I've fulfilled my quota. I think I'll drive this car off a cliff. And I just crash into a pole because I can't drive.
I would want to see what the whole hubbub is like inside a particle accelerator. Alright, let's see what these particles look like when they smash. Huh.
Well,
I couldn't see anything.
Alright, Britain, see, I'm already thinking of things I would do if, again, like, alright, Genie, I also want, like, whatever I want just to appear for this day. Like,
alright.
We own the universe today.
So for a day we're these invulnerable gods.
Yeah, like Popeye versus Bluto.
Yeah.
I'd be like, alright, I want a catapult. And I would just ride a catapult to see where it would take me. Alright, let's see, or I'd put a catapult and that'd put like a wingsuit on me. I've never, used a wingsuit before, but this is the perfect opportunity to learn.
Yeah, I think this would be the perfect opportunity, what I would do if we're gonna do the catapult route. I forget which tribe would do it, but they would, hook a guy's head up to a catapult and then cut their head off so their head would fly. I would just want to see what that's like before I just, come back in.
Like, oh... It's freedom. It's complete because your mouth goes through a branch and you just spin around. Okay.
I'll pop him back.
You have to say this. You have to say the word.
What word?
You have to say the word.
Tell me the word.
The word is pop back. You have to say pop back clearly. I have to know it's pop back. The bird comes and pecks your eyes out.
Builds a nest.
Oh. Ah, gee, Brian, that sucks.
I'm a daddy.
I would, say, no rules, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And I guess I have the power to do whatever I want. Yeah, I guess I would go to, like, a very, very high building and just kind of, just experience weightlessness for a few seconds and just, like, whee! Again, maybe I'd put a wingsuit on to see where I could fly.
Now, are we bound by physics?
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, unless there's something that we don't want to be bound by physics by.
I want to see what it's like if I convert all of my mass to energy. I guess...
That wasn't very impressive.
I was thinking it would be a huge explosion, but...
Nope.
No, just
Ugh, that is Britain. That's Britain all over. See, I would go into a volcano and just swim.
Oh.
See how deep down I can go.
I imagine you're doing a backstroke and just spit out lava.
And I try to get synchronized swimmers to go in and jump in with me, but they're not bound by the same rules we are. Like, they'll be back tomorrow, I think.
I imagine you all dive in and, like, 12 skeletons surround you as you come up through the center.
Like, you just see I jump down, you just see my legs, flipping back and forth, just this kind of, like, twiddling. Like, mark it out of there. Come on, we gotta fight now.
The park ranger's pissed.
Hey, boo-boo. Let's see.
That's why I'd smack a bear.
Punch him right in his snoot.
Yeah, you dumb animal.
Just punch your way out. Like, that's fine. Everything comes back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, no consequences. We can do whatever we want.
That bear is fine to me, though. He has a vendetta. Like, he has suffered an indignity.
Nobody does this to Quan Chi the bear.
Quan Chi?
I don't know why. I picked a random guy from Mortal Kombat. Nobody messes with Bear Man. It's hard to think of a cool bear name.
They don't have cool names. They're usually something like
dumb.
Bumbo. Bumbo the bear.
Nobody messes with Bumbo and gets away with it. Like, then from then on, you have to... It's like It Follows. It's just a bear that's constantly chasing you.
I imagine he's sneaky about, like, he has a trench coat and a fedora. He's waiting down an alleyway reading a newspaper.
Like, he interacts like, normal person. He goes to movie theaters.
Like,
where do they come up with this stuff?
He's trying to... Like, he's methodical. He's trying to plan out his assassination.
He's not slow, but he is smart. It's like he works at your company for like 2.5 years, becomes promoted, becomes your manager,
and then calls me in the office to lay me off, and then just eats me.
He waits for you to make a mistake that's unworthy of you. I'm sorry, boss, that I thought that it's you, Bumbo.
That's not my name. Oh, it's my name to you.
And I imagine you escape there, and you just relocate.
You were the bear, but I was at your wedding. I was the best man.
And like, no matter what happens, like, he tries so many different things to get to you. Like, you have to keep on relocating to different cities.
I get into witness protection.
And it doesn't matter, he will always find you, but you're always on alert.
Because bears have I think they have a better sense of smell than dogs.
And I think they have don't they have like a 20 or 30 year, like, lifespan?
Something like that. So I think they live a good amount of time.
So he's got time to play with, is what I'm saying. If it kills him, he will... And now I imagine the climax of this whole thing, because this is now a movie in my head.
Yeah.
Of it doesn't even have to be you, just a man who wronged a bear, and a bear finding different ways to find him, and
He's giving chase on a tricycle.
Like, he will always try to ingratiate himself into whatever situation, and no matter where the guy hides, the bear, will find him and try to eat him, and the guy always escapes by the skin and the teeth.
Yeah.
But I imagine it comes down to a fist fight where you're both on parachutes. Well, there's one parachute, and you all are falling from a plane, and it's a fight, and whoever wins gets the parachute.
Yeah, so a plane is in like a nosedive, and we're almost floating.
Yeah.
in this plane as it's diving, and we're both have one hand on the parachute, and we're punching the other one.
I imagine that it's kind of the plane is from a very, very, very high distance. So there's plenty of time.
It's a Concorde.
And I imagine it's spinning around as it's nosediving. Yeah. It's not even nosediving. Maybe it's at a 30-degree angle as it's crashing. You just know it's going down.
Yeah.
And it's spinning around, so it's almost like the fight from Inception, where the hallway's spinning. So you're jumping off walls, and like none of you have a firm grasp on the parachute, but you're jumping off from wall to wall to try to get to it while you're fighting midair.
And it looks like the bear's gonna beat me. Like, he has me dead to rights before a bag of marshmallows floats by and distracts him.
Well, I imagine that every single time one of you gets it, the other one, decks the other and takes it, and it floats around. But I think the thing that ends up saving you the main character at the very end is, one of the things that the plane is carrying for some reason is bear mace. Like the
bear spray?
Yeah, the bear repellent spray, and it just falls off and lands, and you grab it and spray it, and it's just enough for you to get the advantage and jump out and...
I use the spray not only to spray the bear, but to propel me towards the parachute.
And the last thing you see as you jump out is just the bear looking at you, and then the plane crashes, and right before you land, you see the bear bounding towards you, and you're floating helplessly.
Like he's half burnt. But that's not. It's not enough to stop him. I imagine as he's going down with the ship, so to speak, it's like he just gives me a look like, you bested me. Like he hates me on an almost visceral and instinctive level, but there's a sense of respect.
Yeah, like he knows that this was a well-fought victory. Yeah, he just wishes it could have been him.
Yeah.
I think that the last thing he does is he tips his fez that he's wearing. Because apparently if he's riding a tricycle, he's got to have a little fez.
Yeah.
And then the plane crashes, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Again, this is a ridiculous story, but there's a small part of me that would that would stick through it to the end.
Are you kidding me? Like I would be on board from the
get-go.
Like a bear hunting a person, but it's anthropomorphized.
Yeah, it's a very intelligent bear, and it comes down to a fist fight on a plane that's about to crash for the parachute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would be very much on board with this. Like, this is the type of movies that I live for.
I love asinine and ridiculous movies.
Asinine, ridiculous, but still
logical.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of tension behind it, and that's almost what makes it enjoyable. It's like, we're not doing something like, oh, look how random this is. This is funny. It's like, no, there's an actual story here of a bear hunting a man, and it reaches a proper climax.
Like, if you replace the bear with just another guy, it would be a kind of a standard, if not boring, thriller.
Yeah.
But you replace the guy with a bear, and all of a sudden the stakes are that much higher.
Like, because a regular human being fist fighting a bear is a no contest. The bear is gonna win, you know.
Because it's a bear.
Yeah. I imagine it's a big brown bear, you know.
Yeah, it's a grizzly.
Okay, yeah. It's like Grizzly Rage 3.
Yeah. There was a second one?
I think there was. I'm not 100% sure.
We gotta find that one.
I think there was. And, so yeah, this is our bear movie. And, again, I know it's ridiculous, but if this is a movie that you might be interested in, please comment on us, and it's at nowdigonthis.podbean.com. Leave us a message or a comment. If you think it's stupid, tell us. If you think this is ridiculous and you don't share our worldview for bear movies, tell us. But this would be much better than a Yogi Bear movie.
If you do like it, tell us what you think it should be called.
Yes. Would it be Grizzly Rage 3? Would it be,
Bear Follows?
Would it be the bear hunt? Would it be the Great Honey Hunt?
Or would you call it Barely Escaped?
Or would it be something like completely ridiculous, or like a very common name for a movie that, you know, like The Great Hunt, you know, where people are like, oh, I don't know what this is about, or The Revenant, like, I don't know what this is about. Let me see. You pop it on, you're like, what am I watching here? This is so stupid that I can't look away.
The Revenant, like the bear was barely in The Revenant.
Yeah.
Like the bear was heavily featured in the trailers, and then, you know, he was barely in the movie. Like, you know, Kevin Sorbo in that.
The Remnant, or the Reliant.
Yeah, the Reliant.
I don't think this movie would be on the same level as something as like Velocipaster, where it's like, oh, we're making an intentionally bad movie, let's make it as stupid as we can. Like, no, this is just we want to make a legitimately interesting thriller of a movie with just a stupid premise.
Yeah.
You know, take a ridiculous premise and try to make the movie as good as possible.
Almost like Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah. Instead of taking a movie that has a stupid premise and just saying, let's just make it as stupid as possible.
Yeah.
That's not fun. Like, take something dumb, but try to make it fun. Make it interesting. Make it, give your all if you're gonna do something stupid.
Yeah.
And on that note, The Thing.
Phenomenal movie. If you have not seen The Thing from 1982 in particular, you are genuinely missing out. Probably one of the best suspenseful movies, best practical effects movies, and one of, I think, Kurt Russell's best performances.
Yeah, I can agree with everything that Britton just said. To me, this is a movie that I think almost captures horror better than... It's a different kind of horror than you'll see in most other movies, where it is just paranoid fear. And that is such an interesting idea that isn't explored a lot. So, yeah, check it out. It's a great movie, one of my favorites, and is hopefully, to me, a very good lead-in to Antarctica. And on that note, take it easy, everybody.
Toodaloo.
That'll hold a little SOBs.